part for us is going to be important. They have a really talented football team. All 11 starters on the offensive side of the ball are returning starters in some sort of capacity, whether it's transfers or not. Coach Kelly referred to their offense putting up numbers similar to the 2019 record-setting offense. I haven't keyed that, or cross-examined that, but obviously very dynamic with the quarterback, the wide receivers, outstanding offensive line, running back. So we have our hands full on that side of the ball. Defensively, they've got good players. They've got a really good defensive coordinator who spent time with the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe won a Super Bowl there as the linebackers coach. So very capable on that side of the ball. I know they didn't perform the way they wanted to last week, so they'll be ready to improve, and I'm sure ready for the challenge. Obviously very good on special teams. So it'll be a unique challenge for us. And so with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Eli, we were talking to Brady after the game. He said he just keeps seeing this offense grow more and more confidence from the offensive lines and the wide receivers to him. Have you seen that confidence growing throughout these past 5 games?
Yeah, I think that's every week we're getting a little bit better. And, again, your confidence comes from your preparation. I think the way these guys have attacked practice on Tuesdays and Wednesdays gives them a lot of confidence to execute. I think, we go against a very good defense, and we get our good-on-good segments in, and it's a real battle each and every week. And I think our guys are starting to become more and more confident in the schemes. I think Kirby's more and more confident in the players executing the schemes that he wants to call, and I think it's been good growth.
As you get almost to the midway point of the season, is there anything maybe it goes back to the offseason, the difference in this group that's led to 5-0 and the things that it takes to get to 5-0?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it or really thought about it. I think we're so focused in on just trying to be 1-0 this week. I think that's been the mindset of our players, and that's been the mindset of our staff. And even yesterday in our team meeting, our biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, right? And we feel like even after the game Saturday, we went back and watched, and we made improvements from week to week. I think maybe that's it. Last week going into the game, we said we got to improve on third downs on both sides of the ball, and we got to improve in the red zone. And offensively we were 50%, defensively we were 80%. Defensively we had a takeaway in the red zone. Offensively we were 4 for 5 on 4-point plays. So I think it's that constant quest for improvement, being 1-0 and having a narrow focus probably.
How much of that is player-led? I think we talked about that before. There's some player-led aspects to this team. How good are they at identifying, hey, this is what we're attacking this week, this is the change we're trying to make?
Well, I think it's the job of the coaches to identify the issues, and it's up to the players to accept the challenge to do that. I think obviously we have 6 really good captains. When you talk about Brady Cook, Cody Schrader, Javon Foster on the offensive side, Chad Bailey, Darius Robinson, and Tyron Hopper, those guys have a standard of excellence. They've been in these battles before. They understand what it takes to play at a high level, and they've seen the highs and the lows of this conference. And so they've been very steady, but they also know that each week we have to be a little bit better if we want to keep our edge.
As far as Darius Robinson, what do you feel like his week's going to look like? Do you think that's a possibility, coming back on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's questionable. He does everything he possibly can to get back. It's a soft tissue, muscle situation. So we'll attack it, and we'll see where he's at. And if he can go, I know he wants to go. If he can't, then we'll operate without him.
Coach Daniels is off. Great quarterback, knows how to obviously pass the ball, is doing very well in that aspect, but he can also rush the ball as well. I think he's their second leading rusher. How do you contain him, a player that dynamic, and force someone else to beat you?
Yeah, I think he's just the 6th player in FBS history to pass for 10,000 yards and rush for 4,000 yards in his career. So that's rare air, to be able to do both. And he's a difficult challenge because he's an elite player. He's right there, from a statistics standpoint in all of the Heisman conversations, there should be. So, our defense is going to have to accept the challenge. We've got to play good, solid defense. I don't think you can put all your focus on him just because they are so dynamic at wide receiver, and and have really good running backs and an offensive line. So, we're going to have to do a good job of playing assignment sound and doing our job and not trying to do too much.
Eli, when looking at tape, what else kind of stood out to you about Malik Neighbors there at the wide receiver position?
Explosive player, yards after catch opportunity, can extend the field vertically, got really good ball skills, body control. He makes all different types of catches.
Did you like what you saw in coverage a little bit more than perhaps the first few games of the season?
First 3 quarters I did. Yeah, first 3 quarters thought we did a nice job in coverage. Had a couple of lapses there in the fourth. Tried to jump a route instead of playing our hook to curl responsibility on one of them, and then obviously you got to play top down. Can't have a guy behind us in a thirds coverage. So things that we'll look to get corrected.
On the other side, what have you seen out of LSU's pass defense in their secondary?
Yeah, honestly, when you go back and watch the game against Ole Miss, Ole Miss's quarterback played exceptional. Really quick decision maker. Got the ball to his guys in space, and then you look at their running back played outstanding. A lot of yards after contact, was able to navigate some really tight holes and very hard to tackle. So, I don't know that one all goes on their secondary. They've battled some injuries. They've got a lot of different people rotating through there, but they're really talented. They're really talented, and they really don't give up the deep ball very much. I don't see people just completing a lot of vertical throws on them. So it's going to be a real challenge for sure.
You mentioned after the Vanderbilt game that the defense used a lot more combo coverage instead of just man. What's kind of the approach this week in slowing down or weekend with Brian Thomas?
Probably all the above. I think you've got such a good quarterback that you're going to have a lot of different presentations for him. You watch the Arkansas game, they line up in man-to-man, and he knows exactly where the ball's supposed to go. And you watch the Ole Miss game, and when they gave man coverage, he knows exactly who their man beater is, and he puts it exactly where he's supposed to. So he does a really nice job of recognizing coverage, and you can tell Coach Sloan, their quarterback's coach, has done an excellent job with him. So it'll be there's not a one-size-fits-all on this one.
Coach, when you look back at last week's game, what are some things after reviewing the film that you're more impressed with, and then some things you say, we got to really clean those things up?
I think I was more impressed by the protection that we provided our quarterback. I think specifically on our shot plays down the field, our quarterback was really clean. And that was good. I think I was a little bit more surprised by how well our run fits were defensively. I think we did a really nice job of limiting their runs. I'm disappointed in the backside of our run schemes right now. Dwayne Ledford has a sign in the Atlanta Falcons says frontside wins championships, or frontside wins games, backsides win championships. And right now our backside run blocking is not very good at all. The backside defensive end, backside linebackers are making plays on us. We're trying to run the outside zone, and instead of getting, we're getting 2 and 3 instead of being able to get 6, 7 or more. And we got to take more pride that our guy's not going to make the tackle. And when I'm on the backside of the run, my block's the most important block. It's a championship block. So I think that was surprising to me in the game. I didn't anticipate that being an issue, but when issues arise, you challenge your guys to respond, and that's what we got to see this week.
Coach, what have you liked from Vito Weiss as a red zone option around the goal line here?
Obviously, big body guy who has really good body control, yards after catch potential, and always finishes forward. I think there's a comfort level with him and Brady. They've been repping, a lot together, so the quarterback knows he can give him a ball in his catch radius, and it's a good possibility he'll come down with it.
Eli, with your leads the nation in receiving, in what areas have you kind of seen him grow from his freshman season into
Well, he hadn't taken all his stuff down on social media this year, so that was good. That's growth right there, right? No, I think it's been everywhere from top to bottom. I think it's just maturity. I think, we talked to him a lot about when you mature off the field, the product on the field becomes much better. And not that there was like a whole lot of different things, but just his eating habits. He doesn't sit around eating Skittles all day. I mean, he's focused on what he's putting into his body. He's bought into what Coach Russell's teaching from a player performance standpoint. He works with Zach. He was not even close to 100%. You could tell in the game, like making people miss, like his ankle was still bothering him. But man, his competitive spirit is so strong. And I think that's just a tribute to how much time he spent to get himself back right. His mental prep, there's not nearly as many busted assignments. He knows exactly where the plays are going. He could probably tell you, in the past it was just about what he could, what his job was. I think he could tell you all the wide receivers. So I think those are maturing. He's more excited when Theo catches touchdowns than when he catches touchdowns. Now, he gets pretty excited when he scores too. But I think all of it has been growth, So I think that's just part of the process. And yeah, there's a lot of other things, but I don't want to talk about them right now.
Austin Firestone, he got home for a sack late in that game on Saturday. What have you
Late in the game, it was fourth down. It was a big part of the game. Whew.
How has he kind of progressed, and what is that, since he's been on campus, and what does that say about the depth of your defensive line?
Yeah, just again, you don't get to schedule an opportunity. You got to be ready for it. And Austin is one of those guys that's here every morning about 6:15 in the weight room doing extra yoga, working out on his own, spending extra time. I mean, the first week of the year he was down there with us on a show team. But as different things throughout the season have occurred, he's just stayed steady and waited for his opportunity. The opportunity presented itself last week when we couldn't travel D-Rob, and he made the most of it. And really proud for him. I think also shows how good of a coach Coach Peoples is that he's coaching everybody. It's not just focused on maybe the 3 or 4 guys who are going to play. He's doing individual during special teams, and every single player down there is getting the reps so that he has confidence that those guys are growing and maturing, and when their opportunity is called, they're ready to accept it. And, like I said, opportunities can't be scheduled, so you just got to seize them when they pop up, and I think that's exactly what Austin did.
Cody and Nate continue to play pretty well off of each other. How important has that been to the overall offensive production, their part of it?
Yeah, I think there's a good synergy there. I think there's a good complementary style there. They both are doing a much better job picking up protections and blitzes and capable out of the backfield and just continually being consistent. So, I think it's helped them both. They both kind of faced different challenges physically after the first 5 weeks, and so, hopefully we're able to keep them fresh and keep them healthy.
Speaking on Cody and Nate, a lot of 21 personnel, especially in that second half. Was that something you guys have been sitting on all year, or something you just saw against Vanderbilt you wanted to attack?
I don't know that I would ever say sitting on it all year. I think, that's spring and summer and fall camp. You rep a lot of different plays, and then, when they're needed, you pull them out of the piggy bank, so to speak. And I think that's kind of what we did. It was something, we ran something similar last year versus Florida and Kentucky, and so we've had it in the bank a little bit, and just felt like this was a week that we could use it.
Coach, both teams do really well in the red zone offensively. Teams have had kind of their struggles in the red zone defensively. I mean, how much more focus on the details do you have to do this week in the red zone on both sides?
Yeah, I mean, in close games, it's always going to come down to red zone scoring, like who's winning the 4-point play battle, who's, which side of the offense or whichever side is being able to get touchdowns and force the others to field goals is going to be, probably the separator in this game. I know you're not going to be able to settle for field goals very much against LSU and beat them with as explosive as they are offensively.
Eli Brady was slides more, in order to stay healthy for SEC play. Saw him slide a couple times against Vanderbilt. How much emphasis did you guys put on that for him in terms of staying healthy?
Coach Moore doesn't yell a whole lot, but last week during practice he was yelling at his butt to slide. So I think there was a big emphasis on making sure the quarterback knows that he's got to take care of himself. And he's just got to learn the difference between knifing and sliding. When do we need to finish forward? Because he keeps costing himself yardage by leaning back too quick, because as soon as you initiate the slide, that's where the ball gets spot. But, it's something that I think Coach Moore's doing a really good job coaching.
You mentioned after the Memphis game wanting to get Marquise Johnson more involved in the offense. Did you like what you saw from him against Vanderbilt?
Yeah. Yep.
What can you tell us about Makai Miller's status?
Yeah, questionable right now. We're still, those head injuries can be tricky, and everybody's different, and there's not a lot of, you just got to do what the doctors tell you. There's no rushing it back or anything like that. So, first and foremost is to get him healthy, and whenever that means he can play again, then we'll get him ready to roll. We definitely miss him. We got 4 guys with about 200 yards of receiving and about 20 catches, which is nice, but he would be one of those guys for sure, because of how much we run 4 wide personnel. So, and on third downs, to be honest, I think that's part of our struggle is, Makai's such a reliable guy. We kind of miss having his presence out there.
Coach reflected on the 2020 game with LSU here. If you look back on how important was that to the program in your first year?
I haven't really reflected on it very much in this week, just because it's not really, other than Javon and Xavier playing in that game, I don't know that we have anybody else. Chad was on the team, but didn't play very much, and D-Rob was hurt, and everybody else was either quarantined. I remember that. We had a bunch of guys that were out with COVID, and it was a big one, obviously, because of it was the first one, first win, and then obviously we had to face a lot of adversity in that game in order to even be in it. I think we had 3 healthy defensive tackles because of quarantine and COVID stuff, and then we had 3 wideouts or 4 wideouts that were contact traced because of, man, you look back on that stuff, wow. So it was definitely a good win, and obviously, we had 4 stops right there at the goal line that was awesome. Nick Bolton and Bledsoe both made huge plays for us.
In terms of occasion, what is the game this weekend mean for both the team and the time?
I mean, it just means the next SEC game. I mean, to be honest, it's really not any more significant than that one way or the other. It's a great opportunity because you're going to get to play in front of a sold-out stadium, and it's an opportunity for our program to showcase itself and our fans to showcase itself. We got a ton of recruits coming. There's a lot of good buzz, but the reality for this team is it's really just the next game in a string of 12 opportunities, and we need to maximize our opportunity. We need to be better than we were last week, but it's not going to define our season one way or the other. There's still a lot of challenges out there, irregardless of how this game plays out. So to make it more than that, I think is not wise.
Coach, we know, obviously, you talked about it, very talented team, but schematically, what do they do offense and defense? What do they do well on offense and defense?
Yeah, defensively, extremely multiple NFL-style background, mixes in both 4-down, 3-down fronts, multiple blitz schemes. They have a couple of dynamic players. I mean, when you talk about, Perkins Jr., I mean, one of the elite players in our league. Havoc, I mean, he creates havoc not only in chasing down the play backside, being able to, a lot of people have tried to run counter to him, and he's able to beat the guard, get into the backfield, make plays. I bet he's drawn at minimum 5 holding calls against offensive linemen just because of the speed and quickness that he has. So really an elite player there. Obviously, they got Makai Wingo, who's an elite interior defensive lineman. you know, and they've got multiple linebackers. The true freshman Weeks has been really good as a player, multiple tackles. Obviously, is a unique player and a really good player. So they've got some good players, very multiple in their scheme, which I think makes it a challenge to prepare because you're just never sure what they're going to do. You know, obviously, nothing that we're going to do is something he hasn't seen before, being in the NFL and spent a lot of time in this league when he was at Kentucky. So, you know, he's got an expertise that's really good. Obviously, they have got a lot of different coaches on staff. Brought in an D-line analyst this week, so you know they've got a lot of wisdom in that room. And you know, we're gonna have to do what we do at a high level and prepare. Offensively, I mean, they got a really good scheme. It's a unique scheme. I think they utilize shifts and motions and unbalanced formations and RPOs and drop back. You know, I think one of the keys to their success, they're so good on third downs. They're in a lot of third and mediums. The quarterback's ability to pull the ball down and scramble for positive yardage, you can tell that they've made an emphasis on finding his checkdowns. He's doing a really good job of finding the back out of the backfield late to keep him from having to scramble as much. They can stretch you vertically down the field with their play action and drop back game. So, you know, they really have all the components there. You know, like they said, they're in line with the 2019 offense, which I think was one of the best in NCAA history. So, I mean, they're pretty good, pretty sporty.